All right, hello, how are you? We're gonna ask today only what is the masculine thinking, feeling? Ooh, spider and owl. That's what I'm getting and going to do. So thinking, feeling, next action. I feel a lot of pressure on the masculine side right now. A lot of buildup. You have seahorse. Of course. He has my divine masculine card. Dragonfly. And the turtle in between. Sloan City wins the race. A beaver on the bottom. Okay. Very excited. I guess we're going with this deck today. Let's see what kind of energy is. So Wheel of Fortune flipped over as I was shuffling. Nine of Cups, Ace of Pentacles. Trying to be happy with what he has. I actually kind of get gratitude practice there. Ace of Swords. So yeah, I'm seeing two aces. Eight of Wands, the Chariot. Eight of Wands, the Chariot, both in reverse. He does not want to come on too strong. Ten of Swords, Knight of Swords, reverse. He doesn't want to talk about the past. Doesn't want to talk about pain. Sun and Ten of Pentacles. Very interesting stuff here. Let's get to it. Six of Wands, Page of Swords. Two of Pentacles, High Priestess, Four of Cups, Seven of Swords, King of Pentacles, the Lovers, and Ten of Wands. Queen of Cups, Queen of Wands, and oh, he likes when women fight over him. That maybe was his play. Oh, he's been working on himself. Three of Cups. I felt Three of Pentacles. Look, Three of Swords. He knows he did the wrong thing. Seven of Cups. We have Seven of Swords and Seven of Cups. Oh, lordy. What are we doing here? What are we doing? Okay. And his thoughts. He's looking for clarity. He isn't quite finding it. And that's because he's not really tapping into his intuition. It's like the quality of your thoughts, depend on your frequency. And I think you have been waiting for him to get on this. Your soul and his higher self and you have been watching and waiting and waiting and watching and hoping that his frequency would rise, and yet it's still the same. Wow, okay. But he doesn't want to lie to you. He just doesn't want to cause a bunch of problems. Strategies tied up. So we've had, oh, look at that. Finally, some nice energy. We've had Eight of Swords twice. And I see it here again on the bottom of this deck. Queen of Pentacles, King of Swords. So we do have a matched pair, and yet he knows you're a matched pair, and yet he's reversed in both the Pentacles and the Swords. He's not wanting to kind of give you the missing information. As I was shuffling and getting ready to come to start recording this, if I start recording, I swear to God, it's like every loud car in the world comes. I felt like there was a missing piece of information that was critical to give. And yet he feels sort of safer when he doesn't give all of the information. And so he may... Here's the thing, you're just so much higher frequency than him that you can see so many things you can't see, right? So it's your frequency and your intuition will give you the information that's on that frequency. And when you let your mind kind of run your feelings, you're going to get low vibrational intuition. It's mostly what it is mostly fear from your mind and very little intuition. And that's lack of trust of yourself, basically. I'm not seeing it directly in the cards, but I do see he doesn't feel like, I do kind of see it right here. He doesn't feel safe to say what is on his mind. Oh, stalker alert. We had this addiction and abundance come out several times now. And this chaser, hand of cards. Yes, these two cards are like the same to me. Stabbed in the back is also a very interesting card to come out. So he's watching you. He, you know, I feel like a broken record in these readings sometimes, but I have to give you what comes through. And that is like, there is more awareness here that you two like belong together. And I think in his next actions with this Lover's card, he wants to tell you that. But he's also hesitating here because the self-worth is an issue. Owl, medicine. It's so funny. Okay, Cobra, medicine. Void. Do you even miss me? Do you wonder if this is real? I doubt it. And silence is easier. Those, yeah, I all feel very strongly. You're so spiritual. I feel inadequate. This is exactly what I'm talking about right here. Aquarius, I saw Capricorn, Venus, Empress, Sagittarius. I listen to music and think how it was. Incoming contact. Some of you, and I've said this before, but whenever I get the music card with incoming contact, it could be that instead of sending you something where it's like talking to you directly, he sends you a song or something like that, like somebody else's words. And it kind of removes some of the pressure. Because there's a lot, I think that's the very first thing I said. There's a lot of pressure here on the masculine. It's like that hydrostatic, I don't know, is that the word? That's the word they're giving me. I don't know what that means. Pressure before like a storm builds up, like when the mercury balls go up or whatever. I don't know. Just the message. A lot of you are really worrying that you're the problem. That's the message I'm getting. Why? Some of you are not trusting your intuition either, and it may have been that there's a particularly long time of not, it's maybe not even not speaking, but like not speaking of what's going on here, leading to a bunch of like, am I just making this all up? Am I just imagining that this is even a thing? Is this, like, I feel that. I can feel that mirrored in a lot of ways. And I also feel like you hold some feelings of inadequacy on your side a little bit in some way. I think you've been working through them and with them, but I think from time to time. So the owl and the cobra want to bring, okay, what is it? I guess it's on, they're telling me coin or money, whatever, wherever it's like the bird holding the snake in its talon. It's like you need to tap into that strength. So the owl card says, potent medicine for you to know how to use its keen vision, wise insight, and stealth. Tap into it now. And then cobra medicine says it's healing, potent, and swift. So interesting. Cobra can assist you and clear away anything that's unnecessary or extraneous. Pare down. And I actually think, like, together, it's that you need to pare down in your mind. Like, it may even be like an addiction to, I'm forgetting now, thinking like too defensively. This has come up a little bit in the last week where there's kind of a call to be like, you know, if you're raised with trauma and you're raised like always to be on guard, always to be defensive, you're never really creating because you're always like ready for the next shoe to drop, ready for someone to be upset, always like you're never thinking about you and how you feel. It's a form of codependency. It's a form of addiction almost, and thinking that someone else's feelings. Okay, I get it. So this is maybe triggering, and I'm sorry. This is just as much my struggle as anyone else's. Like, I've had to work through all of this. In a lot of ways, being a codependent is sometimes easier because, now, it's said with love and respect that those of us that had trauma and abuse, you know, we didn't choose that, okay? So I don't want you to think that this is in any way blaming you. But when we get used to it, it becomes a kind of codependent addiction where we don't really have to think about what we want. We don't really have to think about our feelings. We just continuously think about somebody else's feelings. And in a way, when you start to heal it, you almost see like, I feel so trepidatious saying this because it's so difficult. Like, I know for me, it's been so difficult to understand it all. But it's like not letting other people deal with their own feelings and own consequences and own situations. And if they're mad, let them be mad, right? That's that fawning. That's called fawning. When somebody's mad and then you're just like, you try to do anything you can to make them better, even like giving up your own time and energy and you know, like, let's say you're angry about something and then they get angry back. You're just like, okay, I'm not angry anymore because I don't want you to be angry. This is the codependency that they're talking about. And I feel from what I was seeing over here is that you have really been working through this, and your masculine has really been working through it with the karmic. And that is fantastic. I think the karmic energy allowed them to see how out of alignment they were. There is a tremendous amount of, look at, see, fill up your well. Fill up your well. Stop filling up other people's wells. Tend to your inner temple. Tend to your intuition. Raise your vibration. Answer your call. It says, how are you being called to step up? So we have High Priestess and Priestess here. And we definitely have Council of Light, Ancestors, Ascended Masters, a lot of support in the angelic realm. Spirit, you know, trying to, your higher self coming through your intuition. There's a lot of, you know, it says devotion, tune into the portal of your heart, right? Your heart is where your inner child and your emotions sit. And so when you get triggered, you know, I'm saying this, I don't know if it's actually true, but it's feeling very true, is that when you do get triggered, it is your emotions that are triggered, and your emotions are stored in your inner child and your subconscious in your heart, right? It's not, it may feel at times like it's your thoughts, but, and it is, because it does involve the fear of somehow not being worthy. But a lot of that is held in your feelings. So I need to research that because it's really interesting. And so when we somehow feel, see, Gemini energy, I write texts and delete them. When we feel inadequate, there is a belief that somehow you could be more than you are. And, you know, when you understand manifestation, you understand it's all here. You are all of the things already. So there's a big kind of movement right now. It's like your future self has it. But what they're talking about when they talk about future self is you allowing the parts of you to be expressed. They're already there. You just are suppressing them right now. And you know this from when you've grown before, right? You know this from when you've healed before. I love this card. You can reflect and see that it's like you want to be successful in a certain way, right? Whatever that is, business, social, creatively, financially, you already know what to do. You really do. You already know. Now, guides and people may help you remember. But it's not like you're becoming somebody else. You're really not. You're really not becoming another person, right? In a way, the masculine, it's weird. It's like he does feel like a different person with the karmic versus you. But that version of who he is with you, it's almost too, like, you're almost too pleasurable. It's almost too good. Like, we got the Void again. Really interesting. That's the one card. That's Magician energy. And again, we see purifying and waiting and purifying. And then focusing and stepping into power. And that's, I think, where you were and where you are. And this stepping into your power is this. And it's this. Right? You making a decision and him making a decision to become, and that word is weird. So to step into your power, it's power that's already there. It's not outside of you. They're really, really wanting me to get this right. If somebody doesn't give it to you, you don't necessarily change, but you decide, well, this is who I am. Okay, so we're gonna go through another scenario, and I'm sorry if this is like too much, or this is what they're doing. And you can see this in people you know, right? They can, especially mutable signs, can be like, they show up one day this way, they show up the next day this way. Like, they consciously choose in a lot of times to show up as a certain person, or they have many kind of what you would call personalities, but it's like they're just kind of better at showing multiple aspects of themselves in a way. So when we decide, since this card's here, when we decide I'm abundant, I'm living currently in a state of not abundance, which is lack, right? Which is, I'm not enough, I don't have enough, I don't do enough, I'm not enough, I need to change. Most people say, well, I need to do something different, and they don't work with the mindset. And I need to do a video on this, I was thinking about it. And then, like, they go and they try for 2 or 4 or 6 days, and they try their hardest. They burn the midnight oil, they do a side hustle, they throw all the spaghetti at the wall, they do all the things, right? And they're like, but where's my money? And maybe it works a little bit, but they're exhausted. And in their mind, their frequency thinking hasn't changed. So all they're actually doing is proving themselves right. Like, see, I took action and it didn't work, and I'm this. I followed my intuition and it didn't work. Except those things were on the level of lack. They didn't take the time to raise the frequency, change the vision, and feel differently before they took the action. That's the proper order of steps. And me sitting here saying, well, it's easy to change your frequency, doesn't actually make it easy. We all know that there's been an entire lifetime of programming that your ego has been trying to prove itself right. It was put in there by someone else, and your ego has been trying to keep you safe by proving it right. Okay? So that may be 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years of reinforcement that you have to go against. And this is why certain moments in time, like an NDE or a psychedelic or rock bottom, those things can shift your identity so drastically for some people that they just stop holding themselves back and just rise up to the surface, right? Like the cork in the water. Does that always happen? No. Does it take one of those things to happen? No. Like, that's where I get upset when I see people like saying things like that. But right now, for the masculine, it seems that he has very few options and is being guided really strongly to, what I want to say is express. Now, there's also a lot of fear of creating something worse, something bad. So, in what I see in his kind of mind's eye here is strategic. Maybe through another person, or creating a conflict, or getting negative attention may work. But I don't think it's going to work with you. Like, I think you're like, no. Like, I see you wanting stability and security and this growth, endurance, and flexibility. Like, I see you, and even here, it's always really interesting to me that, you know, the Ten of Wands is an interesting card. Generally, it's interpreted as burden, but it may be that there was a lot of work to get to this particular scenario that they're talking about. That you are about to see the growth that you desire here. I'm sorry, this is 9 of Wands, not 10. And it's here too, and it's here too. All of these wands have growth on them. And it isn't growth that was done in the public, or growth that other people would necessarily see. This was growth done more internally, more strategically, more more internally and more strategically, and feeling that, you know, this could be that there's been a lot of things planted that may yet still be harvested, right? He's not at that stage yet, right? I am continuing on, though I do feel a lot of woundedness. And I think that's what this reading is really about, is that there's been progress. There's been, see, it says slow and steady wins the race. Truth transcends illusion. Lay a solid foundation. It's like I get the feeling with these cards that there's maybe a more needs to be laid on a foundation of friendship, because I get the feeling that you don't really know. Interesting. You don't really know each other fully as like the depths of the heart. Look at partnership. I'm not sure if I've ever pulled this card. This is what I'm feeling. Teamwork will give you better result. Find trustworthy people to partner with. Build up a talented support team. And that it has been a message coming through. It's like, you do not need to do this alone. Not anything that you're doing right now. There's tons of support for you. I said that about the angelic realm. But if you decide to call in support in the physical realm, you will find some good people. Integrate your shadow side. There cannot be light without dark. Understand the law of polarity. Possibility. Raise your standards. It's exactly what I'm talking about. Exactly. You raise your frequency, you raise your standards. Elevate your expectations. You have unlimited potential, right? Everything you already want is already within you, right? When you see something in someone else that you're like, dang, you might feel jealous or envious, or it might actually reflect back on you and make you feel like less than. But what it's really trying to tell you is, oh, I really want to go in that direction most of the time. Not always. Past lives, bottom of the deck. Trust and freedom. Interesting. Those are beautiful kind of polarities in a way. they're not, you know, but I feel like the opposite of freedom is distrust in a lot of ways. And the opposite of trust is kind of like imprisonment, which is kind of a fascinating thing to bring up, because I feel like I was talking about trusting his mind, trusting his feelings, trusting his intuition. And the opposite of that is kind of the Eight of Swords, right? It's kind of imprisoned by your own mind. If you don't trust it, and if it constantly leads you to the worst possible scenario because of your fears, then you wind up in a really, really bad place. Okay, Ishtar, boundaries. Love yourself enough to say no. This is what we were talking about with people pleasing and how hard it is. Demands on your time and energy. Sekhmet, be strong. You are stronger than you think you are, and your strength assures a happy outcome. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. Love that whole card. Amazing. Solace, bodies of water. Spend time near water such as lake, river, oceans, or recharge your batteries. And then we have Ixchel, the medicine woman. You are a channel for divine healing power. Look at Athena with her owl. You know what to do, trust your inner wisdom, and take appropriate action without delay. I really, really strongly feel that you moving in the direction of your dreams, your goals, when you're on the right frequency, not out of fear, will really, like right now, I think there's like a huge leap to be moved forward and a huge step to be taken in the right direction. And I feel like we have kind of passed, wow, those are beautiful. Look at those colors. I'm not going to take that, but it says healthy boundaries. Shine, creativity, and healthy boundaries. Compassion and joy. So a lot of red ones here too. We have amethyst for meditation, spiritual awakening with selenite, clear quartz, purification. So if you are dealing with like addictions or addictive thinking, this clear quartz can really help you. Coprite, rites of passage. I've never worked with that, but kunzite, as you know, is my favorite twin stone. Self-love. And one more, a few notes. I tried to keep it short today. 32:23 when I looked at the clock. Okay. I think we're like almost out of Mercury retrograde, halfway through the other retrogrades. Tomorrow, everything is in alignment. Manifesting miracles. Your dream is soon to become a reality. Trust your heart. Follow its guidance. Look deep within your heart. You will feel my love. My love for you is as deep as the ocean. New beginning. A new adventure awaits. Embrace it and live your dreams passionately. Criticizing one another will only lead to further unhappiness. Love and accept each other as you are, and your relationship will magically transform. And I think the important part of this card is how deeply can you accept yourself as this just beautiful, unlimited being of energy and light that is currently expressing itself through restrictions and, you know, that's Saturn, right? Restrictions and limitations. And it doesn't mean you need to do a ton of self-work. I'm not against self-work. I like it. I think shadow work, though it is the most challenging thing I've ever done, it will move you the furthest ahead. I've been talking to a lot of people about this lately, but it's like, I honestly feel like if you do shadow work every other month just for like an hour or two, and you really, really do it, because you kind of have to be in the right space to like excavate all of that stuff. At least I do. And I almost always cry while I'm doing it. Then once it's brought to the light, you just have your time to integrate it. You know, if you're on a real growth path, you might do it every week or two, but that's a lot. you can't, this is me personally, this is all I can give you, and the people I've done it with have said the same thing to me. It's like, most people have such a resistance to it, they can't do it. And it really, really triggers them, and it will, if you're doing it right, it will trigger you. And then you'll release it and integrate it. But the integration can take anywhere from like 2 to 6 weeks, I think, personally. It's not, you can't like force yourself to integrate. You have to allow the integration. You have to allow the up-leveling. And that's just my experience. Everyone can have their own experience, and it doesn't make it right or wrong, especially on the spiritual journey. Everyone has their own journey. But if you're really doing shadow work about someone else, yes, it probably will involve somebody else's stuff that they put on you. But if you're really doing it about them, my personal feeling is you're really not doing shadow work. You're doing like some kind of relational trauma healing, which is great too. But shadow work isn't really about anybody but you. And yeah, that's all I have to say. Thank you so much for being here and liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting, all of it. I appreciate it so, so much. Sending you so much love. Bye.